So yeah, not a ton. The the main, of course, meat and potatoes there. Yo, Terry Bogard is out,
I've been
and
playing a lot of Terry Bogard. I posted a picture of someone of an Akuma disconnecting during my level 3 super like 20 minutes
yeah,
ago.
was it the big one?
It was not the Big Bang.
Okay,
It was just a
the
regular
regular
level 3
one.
super in the corner.
So yeah, I really do appreciate that. Like, um, not every guest appearance in games gets treated with like the utmost respect, but there are some standouts when you feel them.
Sometimes they're just here.
Yeah. It's like, hey, look, we took a couple of our existing assets, cobbled them together, and there's your weird version of the character you recognize in our engine.
Yeah, I think Tekken really like went above and beyond with its guest characters. Like Akuma just worked on a completely different universe, and then like Noctis was like, "No, we are actually gonna integrate all the stupid magic shit."
Yeah, Tekken really did put a lot of love in there. I think as well, one of the best comparison points for a long time was Shovel Knight, because Shovel Knight shows up everywhere. That's a fucking traveling hero. But Shovel Knight in Rivals of Aether in particular had the most amount of love put in by comparison to a lot of all these other cameos that you kind of are like, holy shit, everyone else was phoning it in, you know? And so all that to say that Terry Bogard is, yeah, one of those, you know? Like, we've talked about the amount of shit we've seen from him in the trailers and everything, but like, now that the full package is out and we kind of have the top view, it's insane, man. Like,
Terry feels like just a masterfully crafted little gift. Like, I remember when we saw the power dunk is a target combo. It's not like a move. It's a target combo. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. And now, how often are you going to hit power dunk? And the answer is actually all the time. It's his best meterless combo if you just frame it.
And if you get to just you get a specifically timed version for a little extra damage there. And like, then you have these other little things as well where when you do his OD fireball and it burns you out, so you spend all of your meter to do that. Instead of going like power wave, he goes into his old Fatal Fury 1 voice clip, power wave. They're grabbing little things in there. They've even put a secret super in.
Yeah.
So you've got
his old, really awful motion.
SNK motion required. Yeah, you need to do a quarter circle back and then half circle forward and press like heavy punch and medium kick at the same time.
Yeah,
and then
goofy.
He does the same like super. He does power geyser, punches the ground, but instead of it's shooting out at an angle towards your opponent, it shoots straight up, which is
the hitbox is the same though.
Yeah, it just looks like the old style version of the move, So it's like it's just there for the swag. It's just there for the the nostalgia.
There is even a tiny little tease in there. So Terry's got the target combo where he jumps into the background and he changes the lanes, just like Fatal Fury. And it sucks.
Yeah.
That target combo sucks.
You have to...
And it feels like they're going lane changing's dumb, guys. Come on.
So, like, you can only do it after you hit your opponent. You cannot do it while they're blocking. So, like, if you're going to choose to do that, you're giving up on what could be a better combo, his taunt as well, where like his forward taunt, he kind of tries to go into the background and it doesn't work, and he goes, no line here, all right. But yeah, no, that's the I went in and I put him to Japanese mode as well, because you gotta get the
here comes the big
here
one.
Comes the big one.
Yeah, like I don't want I want Terry to be the strangest man from Florida ever.
I mean, he sounds totally fine in English, but like, you want your Terry, you want bingo. Okay.
I want a Japanese man who doesn't speak English's idea of America man.
Yeah, the only thing is too is like over the years there's been different line readings of "Are you okay, Buster Wolf?" and it's never
This is not a good one.
it's never quite it's not always the same. Like the first one is my absolute favorite because it's that "Are you okay, Buster Wolf?"
And this one he's very chill and relaxed.
And like there's I think KOF 2003 where he's like, "Are you okay, Buster Wolf?" I'm like, dude, relax, take it easy.
Calm down. Yeah,
you know, you can get it out there. I want that, like, hold on to the wolf, you know, drag that line out. But I like the long, loud "Are you okays?" You know, yeah, that's all really just fun and stuff. And we'll get into his gameplay in a second. But I wanted to call attention to his world tour and story mode implementation because there's a thing that they're doing that makes all of these appearances make sense. And so the memes are like Kyo Kusanagi forgotten in the dust, dead forever.
All right, Kyo.
You're right. SNK has abandoned their mascot man, or he's never been, or whatever. But here's the thing. It actually makes complete perfect sense if you follow the history of the crossover between these two companies. So,
well, I mean, Terry and Ryu are cousins. They were made by the same people directly.
Yes, there is that, right? The folks that left from Street Fighter 1 that went to form the Shin Nihon Keikaku, or Kin, whatever it is, the word, but whatever, the SNK Corporation. God, Keikaku's fucking brain rot is in forever.
All according to plan.
But no, anyway, the cool aspect here to the whole Terry inclusion is so we kind of looked at it and went, oh yeah, he's a brother, he's been there from the jump, what an awesome character, great pick, etc. Right? Same kind of thing as like you have him showing up in Fexel fighting EX Layer and Smash Brothers, you know, and stuff. So like everyone recognizes the fucking homeless pizza delivery guy, you know, love that dude. But when you do his story mode, it may and you see how like it's him running into Ken, and it makes fucking perfect sense because Capcom versus SNK 1, right? The original dream match of the century,
Millionaire Battle or
no Millennium Fight 2000. No, Millennium Fight 2000, and then CVS2 Millionaire Fighting 2001. Anyway, in that, you have Kyo and Ryu matched up together. They have the intro together where Kyo has the fire, throws it at him, and goes, "Oh, you're not afraid of my fire?" And Ryu's like, "Let's go." And he's like, "All right, bring it on, round one." And then in the kind of setup, you would then have there's like an MP3 file on the OST of like the two of them fighting and such. Ryu would then win. Terry jumps in, beats Ryu, throws the hat out. Ken jumps in afterwards, picks the hat up. Sorayo tosses it back to him. We get that awesome moment. Everyone goes, "Oh shit, perfect!" Right? And you then look at SVC Chaos as well, where the intro has Ryu and Kyo facing off against each other, and then there's artwork of Ken and Terry fighting each other.
Yeah, because it's black and white versus red and blue. Like.
So it was always like, exactly. So it wasn't like Kyo and Iori or like Rio or Robert or anything. It was always specifically these two face each other and then these two, you know? So.
And then Mr. Karate's over there and Akuma.
Exactly, right? So the fact that Ken and Terry are linked up there, it makes perfect sense so that when you see in his ending in the story mode now, Terry's walking through Southtown, and then he's or Metro City, and then he runs into Ken, and Ken is like, "Oh, whoa, is that you, Terry?" And Terry's like, "Holy shit, Ken, damn, you don't look so good, you know?" And it's like, "All right, how about it's been like what 20 years? Hey, let's fight, you know?" And then Terry beats his ass, and it's like, "Okay," and then Ken's just on the ground like, "Oh," you know, like he's all like dejected, and Terry's like, "Whoa, dude, you all right? What's the matter? You know, your fire is usually much hotter than this. Like, it kind of felt soggy." And Ken's like, "Yeah, I got a lot on my mind, you know?" And he's like, "Oh, well, yo, we're the same kind of fighter. I believe in you. You know, you can get back up there, and, you know, I'm sure the next time you can get that fire as hot as it usually is, you know. And he's kind of like, it's not my business to ask, but whatever is bothering you, you know, I believe in you and stuff. And picks him back up and has that little moment, you know. And Ken's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Thanks, man. And he gets up and he hands him the hat back, you know? And so you have that perfect little reference to that moment. And then they're like, all right, see you, man. And it's like a nice little like homage to their original encounter. So we were talking about what would happen with the new Fatal Fury game, and it was like, oh, it would be a perfect time for them to continue this crossover thing now that the two companies are talking again. And hey, how about Luke or someone to get in there to be like the face of the new franchise? No, the storyline between Terry and Ken continues because that's who's showing up in his game now, respectively.
Also, Ken's so much more popular than Luke.
Yeah, but I mean, you would also think Ryu, right? You would be a clear possibility
Ken is so
there.
much more popular than Ryu.
But it's like, because this is the Terry game, it makes perfect sense for it to be Ken that shows up as the guest, you know? And I would love to see if his storyline there was like, yo, thanks for the pep talk, man. You know? Like,
yeah, it's similar to how like when we're talking versus, it's like Ryu is the one like clutching, like grabbing hands with Cyclops.
Yeah. And you know, and if this was like a KOF guest or something, then you could expect to see Kyo and Ryu having their kind of, you know, their interaction. But this is very specifically like these two and the history of them across these multiple games. And then, of course, Mai and Chun-Li also have a ton of artwork and moments of them together in their history. There's literally, like, the first, like, showdown piece of, like, them just, like, titty to titty, you know, like, facing off, like, what? And so that needs no explanation. That, of course, if Terry and Mai show up here, then Chun-Li's going to need to go over there, you know? So, yeah, they're actually going for, like, a kind of, like, rival narrative pick, instead of like just who's the most popular representative of the franchise. And I love that shit. I love the idea that we get a through line from all the way back in 2000 till now. So yeah, fun stuff with there being a little storyline there. In World Tour mode, I don't know if you saw it, but like Terry has not learned his lesson.
I am probably never going to load up World Tour mode again, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you show up and you know, kind of smartly they've put Terry behind a special festival day where you have to select it, because it's like, let's say for some reason something ever went wrong between these companies and they had to remove any licensed things, they could just take this one special.
I don't think that's what's going on. I think,
but he's not integrated into
storyline.
Yeah. But like they definitely made it like he's not integrated into the normal world mode. You have to go pick him on a specific menu, you know, and that scenario system. Yeah, they kind of have a you celebrate the Knockout Festival, aka KOF, by wearing a hat. You know, and then you go fight a couple people. Interestingly, there's some cameos in there. Franco Bash is hanging out, or like fake Franco Bash. Fake Franco Bash is hanging out. Yeah. There's I forgot his name, but the monk with the big straw hat as well. You know, like there's a bunch of like obscure pics chilling around. You know, but You then have Terry pull up and, you know, your character takes a swing. John World Tour does his best. And yeah, he easily dodges that shit. In one case, he kind of like leads past and then smacks that ass and sends you back over, you know? So, of course, it's just like, aw, shit, Terry not fucking beating the allegations, dude.
Terry, keep your hands to yourself unless you're fighting.
Hey, okay. Bat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Oh, man. Yeah, and you know, then you eventually go to the Pow Pow Cafe where they do a little fun like 3v3 system to homage like KOF as well. So fun stuff. You can meet fake and then real eventually, like Blue Mary, Joe Higashi, and you know, you got your Andy outfit and dude there as well. So
man, can we just get a CVS game already? Like, holy shit.
So the problem with that, because I know a lot of people have went, oh, look, all this is happening. This clearly means CVS is coming, right? Okay.
No.
But how do you do that and you make another game in the middle of two companies trying to push their own thing and not fuck up your own push? Like if you're
Sprites.
If you're trying,
just go back to Sprites.
They're not going to go back to Sprites. They're too expensive and they take too long.
Go back to Sprites. Shut up.
Like the idea of like, yo, we got to do CVS3. I'm like, and here I could be 1,000,000% wrong, and they could just be like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna do it. But I just think that because of the way Tekken also had this problem of like Tekken not doing cross Street Fighter because we're trying to push our game and you're trying to push your game, and then we're trying to push seasons, and like there's no way to squeeze in between there and not kind of interrupt the thing we're trying to do.
That's all great and shit. Do it though. Oh, okay. I want it.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I think the problem is that fighting games have become these long seasonal releases, and it's much more feasible for both companies to be like, how about we guest in each other's games so you don't fuck up our bag and we don't fuck up your bag, and we get a bit of crossover flavor, you know, without having to sort of fully...
We're probably going to see characters jump over here and there and there and here for a while instead of a proper...
It makes more sense economically. And here's the other problem. What if the crossover sucks, right? What if it's Street Fighter Cross Tekken? What if it didn't have enough time or attention because it was the third priority, and what you get is an afterthought, and it's like, oh no, now not only was this a failure that detracted, you know, it just like yeah, it dies on the vine even sooner, and like you just, you know, you want these games to live up to the legacy, especially. They need to have the right amount of attention and time put into them to be worth the crossover.
That doesn't seem to be a threat anymore, and it's not for any particular reason, I don't think. It's just like, of all the fighting game characters that have crossed over from one to the other in the past couple of years, they've all been treated like royalty. Like starting with Akuma and Geese, and I mean Noctis isn't from a fucking fighting game, but like guest characters of this type are treated like they're beloved icons.
And I just I like, if I had to choose between getting the half-baked crossover game in between these seasons of the active thing on both sides, or the both games getting a lot of love put into their guest characters, I prefer the latter, you know.
Well, I mean, no one wants anything when you put the two sides as one being beloved and the other being half-baked, Wooly.
Of course. But I just mean that especially fighting games and the way they're released has changed so much that it's, you know, I think Cross Tekken was like one of the last examples of like how that can go wrong, you know. If they were like, willing to be like, all right, there's an empty space here and we're going to clear the plate. Like NetherRealm, for example, you know, port one out.
You want to talk about half-baked.
Yeah, but like because of the way they release things, like, and they're putting out their own, you know, like MK and then Injustice or whatever, they could do their like, all right, we're going to put both games aside and make an MK versus DC Injustice crossover thing again if they wanted to, because it's on their own schedule, you know. But
same thing with Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about the whole like modern crossover concept. But it's close as it's ever been, and you know, taking the director's, you know, words into account as well. They're like, yeah, we'd love to, we just need to figure out when and how and stuff, you know. Is nice to know that like we're back in the buddy, you know, kind of like times with both of these companies. I am surprised as well. So when it comes to the gameplay with Terry, he is not dominating like Akuma and Bison did. He is not this like pick him and collect your wins. Like he
is a good, like excellent all-rounder character with no outrageous strengths.
Yeah, he's a good Shoto. Terry, are you okay? He's okay.
Is he the best Shoto? No. Is he the second best? Maybe, but probably not.
I would say not. But he takes some work, and he's got some tools that you got to learn to use properly. But like you got to earn it.
And he is weird. That is a benefit for him, is that his shit is all weird in Street Fighter's context.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff he does that, like, you know, is fake, so to speak. And what I mean by that is like it's kind of tricky, but like there's an answer to it clearly. But yeah, he is kind of interesting and fun in that, like, because his fireball is on the ground, it goes underneath other characters' fireballs instead of clashing with them. So you kind of get this little like, oh, we're not just gonna sit here chucking at each other and kind of seeing who like interrupts the rhythm of that. If I'm winning and we're both hitting each other, you got to do something, you know. And yeah, the fact that his like heavy fireball is like very safe and plus and lets you kind of get stuff started. It's fun to see, like, you know, him have these like unusual situations where he gets advantage, right? Instead of having like a button or so that gives that to him, he's got to like hit the tip of his burning knuckle or the tip
Yeah.
of
I definitely like I'm playing Terry and I'm getting this like, oh, all these new situations because his stuff doesn't perform quite as expected, or they don't fit within the mold perfectly. And it's definitely not the emotion I felt when I loaded up Bison and it was just like,
just go take,
I'm gonna just hit some buttons.
Yeah. No, you have to do little things with Terry, like after you land like his tackle, then you have to perfectly time doing his crack shoot kick, and you can do a simple, you know, untimed version of it that like hits you twice and then you can end your combo. But if you wait for the exact right moment, you get 3 hits, which allows you to do a bigger ending follow-up, you know. So
I'm gonna say don't go for the 3-hit version. It's really hard, and if you drop it, you drop the whole fucking thing, and it's don't bother.
I mean, if you feel like you're the type, if you're feeling particularly like plucky and you know that you're an executionist to some degree, then, you know, do what you got to do, get your timing right. But I know, yeah, like it's frustrating to go for the fancier one and then like lose it all, you know. But yeah, he's a character that has these little things like that where if you're really on point, you know, especially in the corner, he's got some really great juggles and stuff. But yeah, like to do things that are like massively damaging, you're putting yourself into burnout because you're doing the power dunk 1 2 3, you know, you're doing a lot and spending all your resources, and he's just not touching you the way like Akuma damaged Marissa. I mean, Marissa's kind of becoming this weird, like, she was the damage character, but now there's so many others that can do her damage.
I mean, she's the damage character, but she's just not as good as the other 2 or 3 damage characters.
Yeah, then they're like, how about other people can do that damage? And she's like, aw, but what am I supposed to do?
I think the balance changes that went along with Terry's patch were so funny because they're like, they nerfed Bison's scissor kicks by like a little bit, a little tiny bit. Did they change his stupid damage? No.
Okay, so this one's a little inside as we're talking, you know, what the fighting game changes, but his scissor kick is a weird example of a move getting buffed and nerfed at the same time, and it's not quite clear why. And I think they figured out what was going on. So beforehand, when Bison did his scissor kick at you, he'd always push you back too far to be able to.
You'd be so far away if you blocked it.
If you wanted
to be totally safe.
Yeah, so like you can act first, but you can't really reach him because he spaces you out. He pushes you out, you know. So what they did was they made it so it's like, okay, he lands closer to you, but his hurt box, the thing that you could hit to punish him, is
smaller, also
further away from you. So you're like, wait a minute, you made him land closer, but I can't hurt him closer. What's the point of that? Why would you do both?
And it turns out it's just so that the things that were going to hit him earlier are more consistent.
Exactly, right? So it's like, if you are able to touch him, you can touch him and not have him like fall out of your combo. That's all they were going for, you know? And then they did some stuff like they're like, hey, we're sorry about Geef. You know, they changed his little knee that he could like keep. He could like absolutely pressure you from even without spacing it properly. Yeah. And like JP's anti-air is now back to not exactly what it was, but anyway, they made some changes that were like, yeah, we went too far. Sorry, pulling it back.
Might have gone too far in a couple places. Not with Akuma or Bison though. No, we were definitely at the right place with those. And Rashid.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't get anything at all either, which is like, I've kind of expected more there, but I guess, you know, we'll see. But anyway, all that aside, it is real dope as well. I love the. Like, again, talking about, like, love, it's like the fact that Terry gets different behavior based on both costumes. His jacket or his hat toss is like, I love that, you know? I love that, like, you have yeah, just completely unique intros and win poses for both of those. And I don't know where else that would be a thing, but it would be great to see more of that, you know, more unique stuff based on the way they look and everything. Don't know what his third costume is going to be. I was wondering, like, are they going to grab one of those weird Falcon designs from Maximum Impact?
You know what they should do? You know what they should fucking do? They should put him in Ken's gi.
Oh my god. A Jeff Bogard outfit of his dad.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, one look he has that's technically a little different is his Fatal Fury 1 jacket is like a long sleeve red jacket, you know?
Nah.
But I imagine...
Oh, people in the chat are saying basketball fit.
Basketball would be fun. With the hat backwards, that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. He does turn the hat backwards when he does the dunk, after all. So that would be real cool. There's some artwork of that. But yeah, anyway, so it's just kind of fun in the end to see, like, okay, the idea of we're going to make the DLC character always be the strongest is now not confirmed to be the case. You know, the guest is not allowed to dominate in the same way that
I mean, that makes sense,
that Bison and Akuma were able to. But
Akuma and Tekken was like a weird situation.
Yeah, so I guess there's different ways to think about it, right? It's like, do you roll out the red carpet and say, yes, you own this game, and then eventually we'll come back in and nerf and touch this, you know? Or do you just go like, a guest can never be allowed to be that great? You know,
I think it'll be depending on. I wonder if they made Terry like really, really good, and were like, the way we built him, if we add like one more frame on this, he's busted. And if we tone it down, maybe like his standing hard punch, right? It's like an incredible hard punch, other than the fact that it's stubby. And I can imagine like, well, what if we lengthened the hard punch? Oh no, it's too good now.
Yeah, no, he's not like, he doesn't have the hard punch that Luke has, for example, which is the fucking party starter, you know? But instead they made it so that his medium punch reaches first, but like you have to spend a lot of resource to convert afterwards, you know? I think it's just a basic thing of just like, yo, Akuma's really popular. He's the most popular. Everyone loves him. He's the fucking...
I like Akuma.
He's the badass, you know, like Ed Shoto from back in the day.
He's evil.
Yeah. And so he's going to be strong. That's it, you know? And I think Dictator...
And Bison's a charge character, and charge characters are hard to play, so they should be the strongest in every game that they're in.
No matter what. Yeah, so I think it really is just that simple. And I don't imagine that like Mai or Elena are going to be too terrifying, but there will always be one thing with the character that is like, that has to make you go, what the fuck, when you see it.
Let's just wait until we see the healing target combo.
It's
Did you know if you hit this target combo, she just heals?
She goes a little bit. She gets a little bit of life back. Yeah, a mini heal. You know, there always has to be something about the character when you see the trailer that makes you go, what the fuck are they doing to get your interest? And yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm hoping for Mai, she does like one of her 8 dive kicks. I hope that they...
Mai is a character that like doesn't exist in Street Fighter outside of like maybe Vega, like Claw.
Heavy wall diver.
Yeah.
I mean, she still has her like ground, you know, the fans, and then
but she's
the
up
fire.
there. She's up there a lot.
Yeah, I think if they give her a lot of air mobility, that could be very fun, and like it's fun. Yeah, we, you know, I mean, years ago, I remember like talking to you about this, but like I like Dong Hwan in Mark of the Wolves. I like characters that spend a lot of time in the air and get cool shit. You know, back in Capcom versus SNK 2, there's a character Maki who had an Air 720, and if you landed that, you're a god, because you spent all your super bar and you did a fucking 360. It's like it's like Zangief landing the air SPD, the air spinning pile driver, except it's the ultimate call out, you know. I love that. I love characters with tons of air options, you know. So yeah, let's see what they do for her. But yeah, Terry's fun.